The water crisis in Flint, Michigan has become a federal state of emergency after residents fall ill from water being contaminated with lead. Dr. McCaffrey from the McCaffrey Family Health Center is here this morning to discuss the importance of clean water and some of the biggest takeaways from this public health emergency. Doc, thank you so much for being here as always. It started as a cost-cutting move to use the water from the Flint River, but it wasn't treated properly, of course.
Right.
How can someone know they've got lead-contaminated water? Can we know something like this?
At this point, you have to have the water actually tested, and the problem you run into is that your municipalities are supposed to be doing this for you.
Yeah.
They would check for any kind of contaminant in it, and when they went away from using the Great Lakes, which are a great source of fresh water, to a river that has a lot of things being put into it. In this case, I guess the way I understand is they took the corrosive filters that normally they didn't put them in, and so now you're getting a huge amount of lead coming into that water, and it's a problem.
I mean, out of curiosity, I just kind of want to know, is it something you can taste? If you're drinking the water, does it taste weird?
No, not really, and that's the thing with heavy metals in general. If you look at arsenic, you look at mercury, cadmium, all these things, they're found in other places as well. You see them in soils, cigarettes are renowned for cadmium. You'll find little contaminants all the time, so you don't really know it's there. Now, the water that I've seen from this place, it's looking pretty rough. It looks like rusty stuff out of a pipe, and you're thinking, maybe not so much.
Well, I mean, overall, would you say the water here in this country is pretty healthy?
For the most part, yeah, we do the best we can, I think, with what we have. The problem you have is that there's so many chemicals used today in industry, in farming and things of that nature, that when the government puts their standards in place, they're only looking for about 50 different chemicals in your water supply. And you run into problems with that then if there's 300 chemicals out there, they're only looking for 50. And so those other ones tend to get in. So I'm a big fan. I had a friend years ago tell me you either buy a water filter or you become one.
Oh, gosh, that's a great way to
look at it.
Yeah, I definitely use a water filter at home. Does it affect certain people more so than others?
Children are highly susceptible to it. It really hits everybody, but children are highly susceptible to it because they're developing. And the problem with lead, and all the heavy metals have different effects on the body. Some of them are carcinogenic, some of them bother the kidneys, some the lungs. Lead really likes to bother the brain. And so it affects how the brain is functioning, it slows development, it lowers IQ, and it can actually physically stunt growth. So you'll see someone that, that may be a year or two behind in their growth pattern, and then their IQ slows down because it's interfering with that. What happens with these heavy metals? They get in there and they start binding to cells, and they bind to maybe an enzyme or something in a cell, or the DNA itself, and now it can't function the way it's supposed to. It blocks it.
Does boiling water help this situation?
Not with lead, it won't. Boiling is fine for sterilizing bacteria and things of that nature, living things. But in this case, a heavy metal, and what they're talking about here, is a byproduct of mankind. It's due to us, mining coals and things like that. When we extract what we want, the stuff we leave behind now concentrates. And a lot of times those are the metals they're talking about.
Yeah. So what if someone has been affected by lead poisoning? Any way to reverse this?
For what we do in my profession and what I see in practice a lot of times, you would try to chelate the metal. And chelating means you put an agent in that is the metal wants to bind to more than it does your own cell, and it actually makes it what they call inert. It takes away the dangerous side effect, and once it chelates it and it makes it more inert, now the body can push it through. There are lots of things that do that. Chlorella is excellent for it. We use it in our practice all the time. Citric acid is another one that you'll get out of fruits sometimes. It has a really wonderful chelating property to it and can bind almost any heavy metal.
All right, scary stuff, Doc. Thanks so much for your insight. Coming up.